I want a baby of my own. While looking at a colleague's baby, my husband muttered this carelessly. My husband's colleague. Jennifer smiled upon hearing my husband's words. To an outsider, it might look like a peaceful scene. But I am the only one who knows the hidden truth behind his words. What? A baby of yours, Dot. The moment they heard my words, their faces turned pale instantly. My name is Rachel. I have recently decided to build a new house. It's a custom-built, newly constructed single-family home. Both Bob and I designed our dream house. We went a little crazy while deciding on the house, and the quotation was a little over budget. Bob insisted on building the house at a certain area. I really want it to be in this area. The area my husband chose was quite far from the apartment where we were living. Moreover, it became far from both of our workplaces. Why there? How about this area? It seems like a good place. No, it has to be here. My husband was stubborn, and eventually, I gave in, and the location was decided. The construction went smoothly, and we were able to complete the move on time. We were excited to be living in our dream house, but one day, I'm home. This is my colleague, Jennifer. We met around the corner. Good evening, it's very nice to meet you. Your husband has been very helpful at work. My husband suddenly brought home a female colleague, Jennifer. She came into the house with a big smile. It's very nice to meet you too. Have you eaten? Would you like to have dinner with us? Oh, that's too much trouble for you. Do you really mean it, Dot? Of course, it's no trouble. Come and join us, Dot. Afterwards, Jennifer freely enjoyed my cooking, even indulging in some alcohol and leaving our house slightly tipsy. It's a coincidence, but it turns out her parents' house is in this neighborhood. Oh, really? Bob, let me know in advance if you're bringing someone home next time. Come on, it's fine. Neighborly relations are important, right? I sighed heavily, he just doesn't get it. According to what my husband told me, Jennifer is his colleague of the same age and they're the closest at work. Jennifer once made a mistake, and my husband covered for her. And since then she's been fond of him. I half listened to the story. But since that day, conversations with my husband have been mostly about Jennifer. Even when I subtly changed the subject, it somehow circled back to her. I didn't particularly want to know, but I ended up learning a lot about Jennifer. She's single, living with her parents, and apparently quite popular at work because she is attractive. Well, she's a bit brazen, but she's a neighbor we'll be dealing with for a long time. I thought we should try to get along as much as possible. That was until it seems Jennifer is pregnant. Really? Is she? I had gotten used to my husband casually calling her Jennifer. But I was quite surprised to hear that she was pregnant. I hadn't heard about her dating anyone. Who is the father? Apparently, she doesn't know. She's saying she won't marry and is planning to raise the child alone. I see, that's tough. Yeah, so I think we have to help her out. I looked at my husband, who seemed strangely enthusiastic, with a cold gaze. Jennifer lives at her parents' home, and there's no need for my husband, just a colleague and neighbor, to butt in. It seems like my husband considers Jennifer almost like family. I wish he would pay a bit more attention to his own family. We've bought a house and I want to have children soon, but he never brings up the topic. Whenever I subtly suggest it, he changes the subject. Does he care more about someone else's baby than his own family? Holding this frustration towards my husband, I was shopping at the supermarket one day when... Hi Rachel. Hello Mary. Long time no see, Dot. I ran into Jennifer's mother at the supermarket. Jennifer visited our house so often that Mary once came to apologize to me. I keep telling her not to barge into other people's homes uninvited. Mary apologized deeply, and since then, we would chat whenever we met outside. I heard the news. Jennifer is pregnant. Congratulations. Thank you. Mary smiled, but she seemed somewhat distressed. What's wrong? When I asked, she sighed softly and shared with me. I'm happy about the grandchild, but she's fully expecting us to take care of the baby. She won't listen when we suggest daycare. We're not young anymore, and it's tough to look after a baby all day. Is that so? Moreover, she won't tell us who the father is, and says she'll live with us indefinitely without marrying. Frankly, I can't just be happy about the situation. It seems Jennifer is completely relying on her parents, who are quite fed up with it. She's an adult. I wish she'd live without depending on us. Mary said this with a tired expression. A few days later, while out on a workday, I spotted a familiar figure on the opposite side of the street. Jennifer? Jennifer, now visibly pregnant, was entering a baby clothing store with someone. I didn't call out to her, but watched casually. The scene that unfolded before my eyes made me, oh dear. Muttering to myself, I let out a wry smile. Several months later, she's given birth. Early in the morning, my husband woke me up, shaking me and showing me his phone screen. It looked like a chat screen with Jennifer. There was a picture of a newborn baby. Come on, we gotta go to the hospital. What? The hospital won't be open yet. They won't let anyone but family in until the visiting hours. Oh, right. Until the hospital opened, my husband was restless. Watching him, I sighed in exasperation. Bah. We have to bring a gift. He brought out a carefully wrapped present from the back of the closet. That's quite lavish for a colleague's baby gift, isn't it? Well, yeah. Jennifer is like a sister to me. I'm truly as happy as if it were my own. Few hours later, we drove to the hospital. Jennifer. Congratulations. Bob. You came all the way. And you too, Rachel, thank you. No problem. Congratulations. You must be tired. How are you feeling? I'm doing okay. Jennifer seemed a bit tired but smiled at our visit. Would you like to meet the baby? Is it okay? Yes, of course. So, the three of us headed to the newborn nursery. That baby is? My husband gazed at Jennifer's child through the glass, his eyes appearing slightly moist. Babies really are wonderful. Bob, why don't you have your own child? Yeah, I want my own child too. Hearing this, Jennifer smiled broadly. Bob also smiled happily. To an outsider, it might look like a peaceful scene. But I am the only one who knows the hidden truth behind this scene. Oh, what are you saying, Bob? The child is right in front of you. Bae? Bob turned around with a puzzled look, and I pointed at Jennifer's child with a smile. That child. That's your child, isn't it? What? As the two of them stood dumbfounded, I pulled out something from my bag and declared, "This is the investigation result from the detective agency. I know about your affair." The moment they understood my words, their faces turned pale. Ha, ha. What are you talking about, Rachel? That's right. That child isn't Bob's. Oh? Should we do a DNA test on the child then? I confronted them with evidence photos. You were insistent on building our house near that place because Jennifer's parents' house was there, right? It's easier to cheat if our houses were close. The photo showed the two of them hugging near Jennifer's parents' home. I thought it was suspicious. How adamant you were about that place. After that, your behavior made it clear you were having an affair. I'm not foolish enough not to suspect an affair with such obvious behavior. And then, I showed them another photo of the two coming out of a hotel. Did you think you could keep deceiving me? If so, you both are incredibly stupid. Well, fools would cheat and even have a child, I suppose. I scattered a pile of photos in front of them. Also, I saw your affair with my own eyes. I saw you enter a baby clothing store together while I was working on the weekend. I suspected something before that and had hired a detective agency to gather evidence. But seeing it with my own eyes, I laughed in disbelief before shock. Did you really think you wouldn't get caught in broad daylight? That day, the person with Jennifer was my husband. He was happily holding hands with Jennifer, choosing baby clothes. The moment I saw that scene, I felt disbelief and then anger. How dare you? I will never forgive you. As I said this, the two of them trembled and looked at me. I'm sorry, Rachel. It was just a moment of weakness. A moment of weakness led to a pregnancy? Did you hear that, Jennifer? Quite the irresponsible man. I'm sorry. Please, let this go. What? Are you out of your mind? I told you I won't forgive you. I stomped on the photos of their affair and delivered the final blow. You two will face hell for this. I feel sorry for that newborn, but this is all your own doing. Your actions have brought misery to many people. You'll regret this for the rest of your lives. Under my cold gaze, the two of them collapsed to the floor. Afterward, I demanded compensation for their affair. I also filed for divorce from my husband. Jennifer's parents, upon learning of this, came to me and apologized on their knees. We'll take the grandchild. We're going to cut ties with Jennifer. I understand. It will be tough, but please do your best. I couldn't forgive Jennifer for the affair, but I had no intention of punishing her child or her parents. Jennifer's family would probably be ostracized in the neighborhood. I couldn't help them, but I hoped they would overcome this. My husband resisted the divorce but eventually signed the papers after discussions with the lawyers. Then I moved out of once was our newly built dream house. This house was mortgaged based on my income. Our earnings were about the same, and without me, the payments would be difficult for him. With the compensation he owed me, my husband quickly became impoverished. He had to sell the house and now lives in a dirty, 40-year-old apartment. My in-laws were furious and declared they would sever ties with him. Furthermore, people in our former neighborhood, who were connected to my husband's company, heard about the incident. Jennifer rushed back to work to pay the compensation to me, but she eventually had to quit as she lost her place there. Rumor has it she's making a living in some dubious nightlife business. My husband is still working, but it seems only a matter of time before he submits his resignation. I assumed he would marry Jennifer after our divorce, but they didn't end up together. Well, even if they did, it would just increase their debts and they'd be looked down upon even more. After the divorce, I've been enjoying my single life. I'm not in a hurry to remarry, but if a good opportunity comes, I might consider it. Next time, I hope to marry a faithful man who definitely won't cheat.